It was more of a security, I guess. I was able to actually focus on my studies, which is what I believe was my duty at the time.
I got to go to class, come home, study, and I got to hang out with my friends. And when I lost hope, that definitely changed.
The Hope Scholarship is a merit-based scholarship that allows students in Georgia to have access to higher education, and it provides a full tuition for any student who excels academically, who makes a 3.0 in high school and maintains that 3.0 throughout college.
At root, it's a way to try to take financial considerations out of the equation, to make it all about achievement and not about the financial part.
Losing hope meant that I had to have more work hours. So the time that for me to put into those studies was very limited. So it restricted the amount of time I was able to put into my studies, and I did worse in school.
After I lost hope, I had to figure out how to fit work into my schedule, and that basically meant I was constantly late for lacrosse practice because I still tried to do lacrosse for some ungodly reason. Constantly late for lacrosse practice because I was always coming from work. I was late to classes because I was always coming from work. I would work really early in the morning and until really late at night. I ended up having to move out of the dorm and back home because my parents said before I even went to college, hey, if you lose hope, we're not paying for anything.
Some of the key changes to the Hope Scholarship that Governor Deal is proposing is, of course, decoupling or separating the amount that the Hope Scholarship distributes from tuition. Essentially, students will get a fixed rate. Right now it is 90% of tuition, and that fixed rate, in order to achieve that, you need a 3.0 out of high school, and you need to maintain that 3.0 throughout college. Also, books and fees are no longer covered in the new provisions. In order to get 100% of your tuition covered, you need to have a 3.7 out of high school and maintain a 3.5 throughout college.
Simplest way to describe it is double-digit increases in costs, single-digit increases in revenues. This legislation, House Bill 326, it's been introduced by the governor, would make the program self-adjusting. Basically, it would tie the overall benefit structure to the appropriation amount, which would be set every year in the Appropriations Act. And that amount would be determined based on how much money we have available.
My biggest concern with the current proposal is the lack of a grandfather clause. Obviously, it's unfortunate that the Zell Miller Scholarship is only going to be students for 3-5 and above. And obviously it's unfortunate that it's only going to be funded up to 127 hours. And those things are not great, but it's also the reality of our financial situation, the reality of the state budget. The issue is that Georgia Tech students are not going to have enough time to plan for these increase in tuition and fees.
90% of tuition is paid out if you get a 3.0, 100% is paid out if you get a 3.5, and that is simply for this year, not for future years, that is for this year. They will go back year by year and look at the revenue and versus how much tuition is, and then set how much hope will be. So this is really bad. This is a short-term plan that will never work because the state has the ultimate power. Now it can tell schools, don't raise your tuition or else we're not going to be able to fund hope, and schools will have no choice but to listen. And it will also give the state the ultimate power to just be like, well, I feel as though this is unfair. I feel as though the revenue is not enough. Let's just kind of set it at this arbitrary level. It could go to 85% or 80% or 75% at any given time every single year.